Are you ready, Corey?
Oh, I am so ready. That was really Canadian.
I'm so ready, eh?
Eh? Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Acts of Geekery podcast. I'm Corey,
And I'm Scott.
and we're the Brothers Geek, here to bring you episode 14 of All Things Geek.
We got past our horror episode, 13.
It wasn't too bad.
We didn't actually talk about horror stuff,
No,
but
that will be a couple weeks from now.
yes, Halloween is coming up. It is October.
Yay. Isn't that great?
It's great.
Yeah.
I like Halloween.
I think it's my favorite holiday because it's like Christmas is cool because you get presents and everything, but Halloween is cool because everybody just gets to let their freak flag fly forever.
Slutty Halloween.
Slutty Halloween.
That's the best kind of Halloween.
I'm going as a slutty witch this year.
I'm going as a slutty podcaster this year.
You already are.
I go as that every single day. All right, what do we got for today? We got any Dawn of Justice or Avengers 2 news?
You remember.
It only took me 14 episodes to remember.
Well, we do have Dawn of Justice news.
Yay.
Ben Affleck recently did an interview. I can't remember with who, but a lot of information came out of it about Dawn of Justice. And a couple highlights that I pulled out of it was he said that it won't be like Daredevil. And he says, and I quote, if we were just doing a remake of Daredevil, I'd be out there protesting with you guys.
Okay. He's probably just saying that to cater.
Yeah.
So that people, don't get mad at him for
Or he
Daredevil.
really thinks that Daredevil was a bad movie. Which,
Maybe.
actors can have shameful movies too.
That's true. I guess they could, yeah.
And then he also said that his daughters would rather see him in a Frozen sequel than as Batman.
Like an animated one
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
like a live action Frozen
Like-
sequel?
I would assume animated.
Okay. Who would he play? The Moose. He
No.
plays the Moose.
In like a sequel, bring him on as a new character.
He likes reindeer.
Is this fact?
I don't know. Ben Affleck, if you're
Ben
listening
Affleck
to this,
likes reindeer.
please send us an email. Let us know if you like reindeer or not, and then we can clarify.
Oh, geez. All right. Well, I do actually have some Age of Ultron news too. Kinda.
Okay, kinda, sort of, kinda.
So, well, a couple things. First of all, the Age of Ultron trailer is going to be released during Interstellar.
This is all the more reason that we need to go see it first, then Big Hero 6 next. Age of Ultron, Corey. Age of Ultron.
So I thought about that too, and I was like, oh, okay. It'll be out Friday on YouTube, Scott. We don't have to watch it in the theater.
No, we still should in the theater.
Yeah, but I'm not saying we're not gonna go see Interstellar.
I think we should.
We are just like, you know what? Let's just talk about all of our private things on the podcast. How was your bowel movement today?
Successful? Is that an answer?
Oh, joy. And then
We're like 3 minutes in, and you've already gone to poop humor.
Yep.
Poop humor. Poop humor.
poop humor.
Poop humor.
Poop.
I can't even talk. Poop humor.
Oh, we're doing great.
Yeah. That's that Utah accent. Poop humor.
Poop humor.
Poop humor.
Anyway, there's a lot more Dawn of Justice news, by the way. You should go find that interview online. I really should have mentioned that before we just jumped right into Age of Ultron stuff. But I'm just excited, okay? I like Age of Ultron. I'm more excited for that than I am for Dawn of Justice.
Well, until the Dawn of Justice trailer comes out.
No, I'll
and-
still
and
be
it
more
looks
excited
awesome.
for Age of Ultron.
Okay.
The other news that came out was that Adrienne Palicki, the girl who's playing Mockingbird in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Currently? Or
She will.
coming up.
Yeah,
That's
coming
right.
up
Okay,
in a few episodes. When she was given the part, they actually already talked to her about the possibility of her crossing over into the Avengers.
Oh.
So either with
Awesome.
Age of Ultron or another show, because, in the comics, Mockingbird did transfer over to the Avengers, so we might see that. So that'll be pretty cool.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
Oh, I have a little bit of news that I'm not proud of. Not proud of. You know what? I have a little bit of news that I'm not excited for.
Some disappointing news.
Yes, thank you.
That's what you're looking for, right?
Not proud of.
Just like this disappointing podcast.
Yes, disappointing podcast. The Arrow show.
Okay. Yes,
You
the
know,
one
the
on
Arrow
WB
Power
that we
Hour?
love. Mm-hmm.
Yep. It's going to have Ray Palmer in it, aka the Atom. But unfortunately, there is no plans for him to shrink down and be the Atom.
Oh, that is kind of sad.
Yeah. And they're going back to the whole roots of it's not super-powered people.
It's not us, it's you.
I'm not really sure how I feel about that, but Arrow's kind of going back to its roots of regular people, assassins, and all that instead of the metahumans, because they have another show for that in The Flash.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Which, so Flash comes out Tuesday, and Arrow comes out Wednesday, for those of you listening Monday or earlier.
We will be watching.
If you're listening Tuesday, The Flash is coming out today. If you're listening Wednesday, you missed it.
But you can also watch Arrow
Yes.
on Wednesday if you're listening
And if you're
on Wednesday.
listening Thursday, you're taking too long to download our podcast. Go back in time.
And watch it.
Yeah.
Listen to it. And watch those shows. Listen to our podcast and watch those shows.
But you and I have been talking about how it's going to be kind of weird seeing the pilot again since we've already seen it.
Yes.
But luckily for us super geeks who already saw it, not that you guys aren't super geeks. I'm just like putting my hand in my mouth or my fist in my mouth today.
Me too. It's actually kind of hard to talk on the show.
Yeah, take that out of your mouth.
Oh, okay.
All right. Wow, I just lost
The Flash pilot we've already seen.
Yes.
So we were a little like, we got to watch it again just to support them. But now they were announced.
We have 3 minutes of extra footage.
You're welcome. I got you going again.
Kind of an extended cut, and 3 minutes doesn't seem like a lot of extra footage.
It could be a good chunk of scenery.
Yeah, there could be some stuff that happens, and I'm really excited for it. I just watched a trailer with stuff I've already seen, and I got excited again.
Yes. Yeah, it was pretty awesome.
Which hasn't been happening with the other teasers we've been watching.
True.
Oh, wow. All right. Oh, that's my Matthew McConaughey impersonation.
That's because we
watched the
Interstellar's getting closer, and Corey's getting a little more excited for it.
Little.
You said you were interested, where before you were like, I'll go, whatever. And now you saw the latest trailer, and you're like,
yeah, which we'll get to in just a
I'll
second.
definitely
here.
go see that.
But first, there's a rumor going around, and again, this is rumor, that there's going to be an Indiana Jones 5 coming out.
Oh.
Like a fifth one.
Hold on, let me process that for just a second. The fourth one, which was the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, which a lot of people hated.
A lot of people do. I didn't really hate it.
I kind of liked it.
Yeah, I mean, it's
the guy getting carried away by fire ants was creepy.
Yeah, that was like the really, because there's always like one scene like that in every Indiana Jones movie where you're just like,
oh my gosh,
your face is melting, you're being carried away by fire ants, your heart is being ripped out of your chest.
You gross.
It's Sean Connery. But Disney actually, when they bought the rights to Star Wars, they also bought the rights to make more Indiana Jones movies.
Okay.
So you're not going to see a Lucasfilm one, you'll be seeing a Disney one, which means they could reboot the franchise with a new guy, which would be sad, but sometimes you need to do things like that.
You got to pass that fedora. I'm sorry, but
not to Shia LaBeouf.
No, definitely not.
Oh, gosh,
I am sorry, but Harrison Ford is getting old.
Mm-hmm. Really old.
Like
breaking his hip on set old.
Yeah. Yeah. Did he really?
No, it was his leg.
Oh,
his leg got crushed by a door or something.
Ooh.
Not crushed. Like a door fell on it and broke his leg.
Like he tried to open it and it wasn't attached and it fell down on him.
Yeah, well, it was one of those big studio. We talked about this in our first episode. It was one of those big studio hanger things.
True.
Yeah, and the cables came loose or whatever, and it came down on him, and he dove out of the way. But then he tried reaching back for his hat, or with his foot for his hat,
and it got crushed.
It got crushed, which is stupid because you use your hand for such things. Harrison Ford.
It's not your foot. Gosh, you're not me. You can't use your toes like a hand.
I couldn't remember which limb I was supposed to use.
Again, getting old. He's got the Alzheimer's.
Yep. Oh, so I have more Doctor Strange rumors about the casting.
Okay, cool.
Now people are saying that Ethan Hawke is in the running for it.
Ethan Hawke.
Mm-hmm.
Which is I'm okay with. Because he wasn't he in Daybreakers?
Yeah, he was in Daybreakers.
Daybreakers. He was also in Gattaca.
Yep, and he's in the upcoming movie that we talked about last time, the trailer about the time travel. I can't remember the name of it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Where he's the briefcase time travel guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Briefcase time travel guy sounds like the proper name.
Yeah, that's what it's going to be called from now on.
But here's the side-by-side picture of him with Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'd say
I can see it just needs a little more gray. Mm-hmm. He's already starting to get the gray in the inside of his hair, on sideburns. So
yeah, I think it could work really well.
Yeah, that would be good, actually.
Yeah. Oh, so I have a spoiler.
Okay.
Sort of a spoiler. The Walking Dead Season 5 is going to lose one of its longest-running cast members, Scott. This is incredibly sad news. Do you want to try and guess who it is?
Let's see. Longest-running cast members. So it's one of the originals, yes. I'm assuming. Daryl.
No.
Because I was going to say, if they get rid of him, the game show's over.
Yeah, exactly.
Not Rick.
Nope.
Not Carl.
Nope.
Maggie or Glenn?
Well, no, it's not either of those. It's actually the Hyundai that they drive around everywhere.
Oh my gosh.
Did I get you with this one?
Yes. I expected it to, be actually sad or actually be important. No, it's just a car.
Yeah, well, apparently in Season 5...
Does it get turned into a zombie? Because if they introduce zombie cars, I'm going to be all over this. This is awesome.
That just bite other cars.
Yeah, well, and then they run down humans. When they run you over, you get turned into a zombie. Or a werecar.
That sounds better. Then, no, apparently Season 5, they're talking about how they're going to be doing a lot more walking on foot. Going through areas where they can't take vehicles.
Yeah, so because it is called The Walking Dead, not The Driving Dead.
So they're leaving the Hyundai behind.
Okay.
And that's kind of tragic because no reason. It's just I saw it online and I was like, oh, that's funny. I'll have to.
Yeah, that's something.
That. Yeah.
All right.
Whatever.
So when does that come out? Do you know?
I think it comes out either this Sunday or next Sunday.
Okay.
We got to find out. We're getting into the busy season for TV shows. Mm-hmm. We have a lot of stuff to watch.
There is a lot of stuff to watch.
Robert Downey Jr. says that he'll do Iron Man 4 so long as Mel Gibson is directing.
So I first heard about this, and I was a little like, no, it's going to be super racist. But then I realized Mel Gibson is actually a fairly good director. He's done a couple good movies.
Yeah, and it's up to the writer to be racist.
Yeah, and he's not going to tell Tony Stark to be racist. He might tell him to be an alcoholic again, but that's just par for the course.
Yeah, well, he was, it was an interview that Robert Downey Jr. was doing, and he kind of just mentioned it at the end, like, haha, here's a little joke. If my friend Mel Gibson does it all, because, he had to name drop Mel Gibson in there.
Yeah. No matter what Robert Downey Jr. says, as long as they back their money truck up to his front door, he'll do whatever.
Yeah. Well, he's like 20 years older than Chris Hemsworth and Chris Evans.
Okay.
He's he's like 5 years older than Ruffalo, and so he's pretty much like the oldest person on that set.
Yeah.
Except for James Spader, who's older. So
James Spader, which one's he?
He's gonna be Ultron. He's the voice of Ultron.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's in the Blacklist.
It was Paul Bettany.
Nope. Paul Bettany's the Vision.
That's right.
So in other Marvel news, Marvel unveiled their logo for the Daredevil Netflix series. And there it is for you.
It looks like a cartoon.
Yeah. That's a little worrying. It's more like it's kind of like the classic look for Daredevil.
Sure, but it still looks cartoony.
Yeah.
It's still, I'd look at that and go, oh, that's a cartoon show.
Yeah. We know it's not. We know it's live action.
Right, but if you were just flipping through Netflix and you came across that and you had no idea that it was going to be either or, that would scream cartoon.
You're right. Maybe that's a problem.
Maybe they'll modify it a little so it's less, because it's kind of blocky right now and the colors are cartoony. Maybe they need to change it to a little more realistic or live action-y.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure they'll just have like a picture of Daredevil in there instead, and that'll just be like the title card.
It'll be him crouching down on top of a building, a la Batman.
Yep, because that's how you get ratings, is making something look like Batman. I saw a comic where Batman's talking. He's like, I have a plan for every contingency. He's like, and then the interviewer's like, well, what if there was a plan that you could not prepare for? He's like, oh, I have a plan for that too. And he holds up this book and it says, a plan for the plan that I can't prepare for. And then he opens it up and inside it says, A, punch everything because you're Batman.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's a good solution.
Yeah.
Call Superman.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, part B, call Superman if it gets too hairy. And part C, if it gets really hairy, call the Flash because it's probably Gorilla Grodd.
Yeah, if it's that hairy, it's definitely Gorilla Grodd.
So Michael B. Jordan, who is going to be not the Flash, the Human Torch.
Yep, Human Torch
In the upcoming
non-white
Fantastic
Human
Four.
Torch.
Yep, you don't have to mention that.
No, I do, because that's what everyone focuses on for that coming up. Because all the rest of them are, but
he says that the suits are going to look more modern, and they're not going to go with the lame spandex.
the blue spandex. So they're going to be the white.
He said lame spandex. No, he doesn't say blue specifically. He just
says
says
lame.
Yeah, he says like the classic look to it.
Is it going to be? Well, every movie's kind of going away from that. They're trying to, even all the X-Men, they're all like in their like leather suits and stuff. And is it going to be the Future Foundation white?
That would be really cool. I don't think so though. I think it'll be a more combination of black and blue, like the Ultimate Universe has. And to be honest, I really like the Fantastic Four outfits. I think they hold up in this day and age, you know?
The originals.
Yeah, it's not too flashy. It's not too superhero-y. It looks like a space age suit, you know?
Yeah.
And that's it.
I agree.
So I'm not. I mean, but I want to see a trailer for this movie. I want there to be a trailer for this movie so bad.
Yeah, I'm starting to not care about it anymore.
Yeah.
Like it's out there.
Show us something.
Yeah. Until I can get a trailer, I just don't care that much.
Yeah.
As soon as we get a trailer, I'll be like, yeah, okay.
Mm-hmm. So we talked about Ben Affleck's interview. Well, Simon Kinberg, the writer and I think producer of X-Men Days of Future Past,
Okay.
had his own interview where he was talking a lot about the X-Men and the future of the franchise. And he talked about things like Mystique's and Beast's relationship and how Apocalypse is going to be set in the 80s for the past characters, like, because they have to do that with everyone now. They have to have future and past because everybody loves both Xavier's, both the Malkovich and the Patrick Stewart. So, but he was also talking and he said that there was a possibility of a Fantastic Four X-Men crossover. It's not out of the realm of possibility because Fox owns them both.
That's true.
Which would be really cool. I mean, I'd rather see Marvel just get them all back and do a full crossover with everybody.
I think we all would, but
we take what we can get.
Yeah, we'll take what we can get. And so
it's
far,
a good silver medal.
Hey, so far the Days of Future Past was really well done, really good.
Yeah.
So if they can keep doing stuff like that, I'll be okay with it being in Fox's hands.
Yeah,
I don't like it that it's not tied into the Marvel universe, but you know, Marvel has all kinds of other stuff to do.
Mm-hmm. Well, and then he also talked about how they want to do the X-Men franchise as a Marvel Cinematic Universe style. You know, like everybody wants to do that these days where they want all their movies to tie in together because Marvel did it and it worked so well.
Well, it becomes a big snowball.
Yeah,
Everyone
exactly.
goes and sees all of them so that they know what is happening in the next one or what ties into the next one.
Same kind of thing goes on with comics where you buy the tie-in comics from other books that really have nothing to do with it. They just suck
your money out of your wallet.
Yeah,
I just walk into the comic shop and there's a giant vacuum sitting above and just and all the money comes out of my pockets. and then I walk out with a bunch of comics.
Nice. It's like, go ahead and pick this many comics. Oh, dang. Well, he said that the Deadpool movie is going to be a part of this cinematic universe, which is a little weird considering that Deadpool doesn't really mesh with
he's
normal
a mutant.
filmmaking. Well, I mean, he's a mutant.
And he was technically in the not so great X-Men Origins Wolverine movie.
Yes, true. But I don't know. Deadpool is always such a hard character. He's a good character to do like a standalone movie with, where he's talking to the camera and everything and breaking the fourth wall. But his breaking the fourth wall can be very off-putting for fans of the X-Men franchise if he comes in there and he's
what they're saying is he'll be part of that universe, but he's not ever going to be on the same screen as the X-Men. I don't believe so because, like you said, it's so different. He's so different. There will be mentions of there'll be mentions of other characters, and maybe lesser-known characters from the X-Men will be fought by Deadpool or killed by Deadpool, because he doesn't just fight them; he kills people.
Yeah, he kills whoever he can.
You know, I don't think they'll ever just do a team up. I don't think it'll be the cast of Days of Future Past and Deadpool. That's not going to work out.
I hope you're right, Scott. I'm worried. So
you can quote me on that. I'm pretty sure that's what's going to happen. I'm pretty confident.
In 3 months, when they show Deadpool side by side with Wolverine again, I'm going to look at you. I'm just going to go, shake my head.
Although, I don't know, a Deadpool Wolverine team up, that would actually be pretty funny.
Actually, it would.
Especially when he starts talking to the camera, Wolverine's like, what the heck? Who the hell are you talking to?
Last little bit of news I have is from Zachary Quinto. The new Spock in the new Star Trek. And he says that Star Trek 3 should begin filming in about 6 months. Which means we might get it 2016, 2015. No, it wouldn't be late 2015. It'd be 2016.
Yeah, probably 2016. Yeah. I'm excited.
Yeah, I can tell.
I love the J.J. Abrams reboots. I'm a Trekkie. In fact, I'm wearing my Starfleet Academy T-shirt right now.
You graduated from there?
Yeah.
You dropped out from there?
In 2168.
Oh. Where do you get your time machine?
Nowhere.
That
closet over there? That's actually a TARDIS.
Oh, okay.
It's just disguised as a closet.
Because when I open it up, all that's in there is an internet server.
Yep.
Do you have to be the one to open it?
I have to be the one to open it, and with a special command knock.
Can you send me back in time about 22 minutes before this episode started so I can slap us and say, do it right?
No.
Yeah.
Only I can use it.
Darn it. Only Scott can use his time.
How do you think we got a hold of the Flash pilot? I just went forward in the future, got it, and brought it back.
And yet we haven't seen a Fantastic Four movie yet.
I haven't cared
Dawn
enough.
of Justice.
I haven't cared enough to go.
You haven't cared enough.
Nah.
Well, what about Guardians of the Galaxy?
Nah.
No.
Yeah. I went and saw it before I went and saw it here, but and that's why I made you go see it because it's really good.
Uh-huh.
Just like Interstellar is awesome.
I felt bad
and
because we didn't have any Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh, you had to mention it?
I had to mention it. Actually, I do have
almost
something.
did. I almost did about 5 minutes ago. We were talking about Marvel Cinematic Universes, and I said Marvel has enough going on, like Guardians of the Galaxy and everything else for that.
Just so that you can get your Guardians on. They did talk about how there was going to be a featurette for Age of Ultron in Guardians of the Galaxy, like in their special
the second
features.
one?
Yeah. No, like in their special features when the DVD comes out.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Right.
So there's your Guardians of the Galaxy news for when that comes out in December. Well, that's really all the news I have. It's not really a slow news week. We just kind of powered through all that.
Yeah.
There wasn't much going on.
I'm looking through my list of stuff, and we covered everything that I saw on there. You know, and last week we covered, the Baby Groot stuff, like the modeling kit and things.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Let's see. There was a kid in Mexico City who got the Guinness World Record for the biggest Harry Potter collection.
Okay.
About 1,000 different pieces of memorabilia for Harry Potter.
That's actually pretty cool. I love Guinness World Record collections of stuff.
Yeah.
I just like even just large collections of things.
The previous holder of that record only had 803.
Oh, so the kid really just rocked him.
Yeah. But then again, the kid's living in Mexico City, so I guess the other guy is okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's probably like, well, I don't have the biggest collection, but I'm not in Mexico City.
I'm not in Mexico. The only good things in Mexico are vacation spots.
Yeah, that's true.
And even then, don't drink the water.
Yeah. In fact, just don't drink. Don't go to Mexico. Go somewhere else. Bahamas. That's better.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
If you say so, I've never been. So
I've been everywhere. My closet's actually a teleporter.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's good because I will never use it.
Yeah.
I will never use a teleporter.
You will not have your body be disassembled and then reassembled. You're like Johnny Five. You want
no disassemble.
No disassemble.
No disassemble.
So let's go ahead and get
Scotty Five alive. No disassemble. Wouldn't you like to be a pepper too?
I hope everybody at home got that joke.
As I'm drinking Dr. Pepper.
And you ruined it.
What if they're not at home? What if they're in their car or like they're walking around?
Hey, if you're at work, you probably shouldn't be listening to this without headphones on. We might say something rude.
No, we're okay. We're okay with them listening at work.
No. I'm just saying You might not want your boss to hear it. just in case.
Podcast greater than sign.
Work.
Yeah. So there you go. Podcast is better
math.
than work. Podcast man. Listen to us at work.
Yep.
Even if it gets you fired.
Especially if it gets you fired.
And let us know if it does.
Yeah.
Because we'll mention you on the podcast.
That you won't be listening to at work anymore.
Podcast greater than work.
Yep. So let's go ahead and get into trailers and videos that we saw this week, because that's really all I had. So the
all you
first one,
had?
yeah, that's all the news I had.
Oh. You're right. We did kind of blow through that really fast.
Yeah,
huh?
we did. I mean, we got a good chunk out of there.
Yeah, this might be a shorter than we expected podcast.
Well, we have a lot of trailers
All right.
and videos.
That's
so.
true. We do have quite a few.
Yeah.
Considering last week we had 3 or 2 or whatever. And one of them was, yeah. So the first one that we watched today was a fan-made trailer about Nightwing.
No, trailer.
Oh,
First
first episode of a web series.
Yep.
That's right. Fan-made web series for Nightwing. And it's the whole plot basically is in the first episode, Deathstroke comes into a election party for a senator.
Fights a whole bunch of guards that don't have guns.
Which is kind of weird, but whatever.
Yeah, whatever.
There's lots of karate going on and
murder.
And head murdering.
Head murder.
Neck murdering. He murders necks.
Yep.
With a sword.
It was pretty crazy.
Yeah.
And then towards the end of the that's the first half, and then the second half is Nightwing himself talking about, or like hunting down somebody for information about the events of the night and everything.
And like half breaking a finger.
I think they're like popping it out of the socket or something like that.
I guess. I don't know. It was odd.
Yeah. It was okay.
Yeah, it's pretty good. It may. I don't know if I'd watch it all the time.
Yeah.
But I'll probably catch an episode here or there. And,
Yeah.
And if it gets better, then awesome. Maybe they'll make Fox will make a Nightwing.
Because Fox does everything for the Batman TV, right?
Apparently.
No, I think we're gonna see this season from Arrow. I think we might see a Nightwing,
Yeah. Okay.
or at least more mention of Bloodhaven and Nightwing and everything.
So another fan-made film or short was a Buffy animated series,
Yeah.
like preview trailer thing.
Now, Buffy did originally have like a few episodes of an animated series
Yeah.
that was going to go on, but they canceled it before the pilot got released.
Which
and
I'm
everything.
sure your wife was majorly disappointed.
Yeah, I don't think she really knows about it too much, so we're just going to keep it from her. And
Don't tell her, because even though it was canceled 10 years
She'll be
ago,
like,
she'll be like, "Oh, it's so sad."
well, if she really loved Buffy that much, she'd go and read the comics, because that's where it continued after the series ended. But this fan animated one was just like a title sequence for a cartoon TV series, and it was really cool.
Yeah, I actually looked at it, and it was well enough done that I thought at first, before knowing it was fan made, that it was going to actually be a animated series.
Yeah.
I was like, that's cool. And then I started seeing stuff that actually happened in the show from what I remember, little bits and pieces I picked up while you guys were watching it.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, they're just doing a
Well, and that's the thing is
fan-made thing.
the title could have quit playing footsie with me under the table.
But I like to.
The fan. I mean, if it were an animated series, you'd want to have things in there that people remember from the old TV show.
Yeah, have some
and
tie-in
then just
stuff.
and then just have new.
Buffy sports a hot pink battle axe, which is pretty awesome.
That's from the final season, actually.
Oh, does she
It's
really?
like the axe of the Slayers.
Is it really pink?
It's kind of reddish.
Oh,
mostly,
it needs
but
to be like full on pink.
girl power.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We saw a super cut by Screen Junkies, was it? I think it was Screen Junkies.
I'm not sure who did it.
But anyways, it was the movie trope of let her go.
Let her go.
This is between you and me. Let her go. And
Because apparently a woman can't escape herself. She has to have the man do it.
apparently, and we watched it, and it's got so many movies in it. I had no idea that they said that.
Yeah.
Because it's just so commonly used, you kind of ignore it.
And
for
you're
the
just
most
like,
part.
oh, here we go again. But now every time somebody says let it go or let her go, I'm going to be like,
Yeah. And be like, hey. That's a fun supercut. Corey, do you know who Homestar Runner is?
homestarrunner.net. It's .com. Yes, I do know who Homestar
Okay.
Runner is.
All right.
That is from, oh man, that's from junior high. that I was seriously into that, like ninth grade.
Yeah, I watched every one of the Strong Bad emails, all the tunes, all the shorts.
Mm-hmm.
It's back.
It's back?
Yeah.
Oh.
They have
I love how I'm surprised and I watched the video with
Yeah.
you.
Oh,
crazy. Let's go watch this video.
They did a #1 rap song.
The Fish Island.
Fish Islands.
Which is pretty funny.
It's like from the 90s. That's what they used to do in the 90s for rap videos. It was all Fish Island stuff.
Just to make things look wonky and weird.
Yeah, and lots of skateboarding.
Yeah, absolutely. Skateboarding was that was the height of popularity for skateboarding was the 90s.
Yeah. I mean, that's cool that they're back. I have a hard time really caring too much.
Yeah,
because like we talked about earlier, it's kind of old.
Yeah, and they've been gone for so long that you kind of just forgotten
about most of the stuff in there. I couldn't tell you. I used to be able to quote it all the time, but now I can't. Yeah. I can't remember any of it.
Welcome back, though. You brought us such great things, such as Trogdor and
Trogdor.
Yeah, but that's pretty much like the most memorable thing.
Like I said, it's kind of hard to remember anything from them. So
I like their Halloween ones the best, where they all dress them up.
So we like the Wii. Most people kind of bash the Wii.
Yeah, they say it's like an old people platform.
Yeah, or a little kiddie console.
But people forget that Super Smash Brothers is only available on the Wii.
Mario Party, Super Mario Kart, and Super Mario, and then the Mario Brothers that they did with the 4-player.
It kind of just sounds like all Nintendo's got going for them is Mario these days. And then Pokemon on the handheld consoles.
Yeah. But however, I mean the new Wii U has outsold both the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4.
It has been out longer.
I know, but I'm talking since they came out, it still has outsold them.
Oh wow!
Every month. So that tells you something. Mario Kart 8 came out and their sales skyrocketed.
I have to get a Wii U, by the way.
I know. I'm more excited to get a Wii U than any of the other consoles.
Yeah,
that tells you how much. And I like this about Nintendo. They have stuck with games. Yeah, you can watch Netflix on your Wii U or your Wii, but you know what? That came like way later, and at first you had to watch it off a disc. Remember?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You couldn't even load it.
You had to put in the disc, and then it would come up on the screen. And
well, speaking of, so they've stayed that way where all the rest of the consoles have gone to like media boxes. So we love Super Smash Brothers.
We do.
We've loved it for a long time. We love the ability them loading all their characters together, and pretty much every other group that does this doesn't do it nearly as good.
Nope. I think PlayStation tried with their PlayStation All-Stars. It wasn't as good and everything. And the thing is, all of these classic franchises that people know about, like Mega Man and Spyro, hopefully, eventually, Crash Bandicoot, all these ones that are like childhood memories, they're all making their way and being bought by Nintendo, mostly for the purpose of putting them in Super Smash Brothers.
Yeah.
You've got Pac-Man and Mega Man in there this time.
And... So there's a little fan-made deal that came out called the Wii Avengers. It was a shortened version of the Avengers movie with all Wii characters.
Like Kirby.
Superman or Super Smash Brothers style.
Yeah, like Kirby is Nick Fury.
Yes.
And Mario is Iron Man.
And you've got Link, Captain America, because he throws a shield around. Yep. You've got Princess Peach as Black Widow. Yep. The Hulk is actually Luigi.
Which is
hilarious. Awesome.
Oh, and Thor is Pikachu.
Yes, which actually you think stupid, but it looks awesome. And I hope that someone makes this as a mod for the Wii U Super Smash Brothers, or Nintendo does.
That would be great, where they're like...
To turn them all into Marvel characters.
The Avengers costume. Like, when you're scrolling through the colors, it's like blue, pink, red, yellow.
Avengers costume. But that one was fun. You can check that out. You just type in Wii Avengers on YouTube, and you can find it there.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. I enjoyed it a whole lot, and it made me laugh more times than I was expecting.
Yes. So... the next thing is the Flash clip that just came out called MetaHumans.
Yeah.
And it's kind of a TV spot to announce the Flash. And this is the one that you said kind of got you back into like, yeah, I really want to see it again.
Yeah, because I had seen this clip, and as we were watching, I was like, yeah, I remember this part. And they're talking, and they're talking, and they're talking. And I'm like, I want to just watch the pilot again.
Yeah.
I'm excited. Yeah. So, and that might be because it's a couple days away at this point, but it's just, I'm just riveted.
2 days away. 2 days away.
They also had a Constantine trailer, right?
Yes, they did. New trailer for Constantine. Also, new poster that kind of goes. It's him sitting in a chair, with a lighter. Except for he didn't have a cigarette, which I thought was weird.
You're not gonna see it. I'm sorry. He may be putting out cigarettes. He may be getting ready to smoke, like pulling the package out. But you will never see him smoke, I don't think.
But that is part of Constantine.
Yeah,
he is a smoker. Even the Keanu Reeves movie.
Yeah, well, that's the thing is
part of the whole thing. He's a huge smoker.
It's a TV thing. You can't show people smoking because then it promotes smoking. Yeah. Okay,
you can't show people doing exorcists because it promotes exorcisms.
Well, that's the thing is nobody said that the FCC was a smart organization.
True.
Just that they're an organization.
But it was cool. It had a couple of shots from the trailer, a couple of new ones that I had never seen.
We hadn't seen before. It looks really cool.
It looks like a ton of CG, fire and magic and stuff, and hopefully they don't burn through their budget really fast.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping to.
Like the first 2 episodes will be all CG and really great, and then the next 16 will be.
The corruption's not got to her quite so much. She's just got marks on her face. That's all.
Yeah,
you're never gonna see a demon unless it's the season finale. From that point on.
So that kind of goes over like fan made and trailers and things like that. Real quick before we go, congratulations to Nicholas Brendon.
Oh yeah,
he's married. He is Xander from Buffy.
Yeah,
and he got married. He proposed, and a week later was married.
That's crazy. And his wife looks a lot younger than him, by the way.
Yeah,
it's Hollywood though.
Yeah. So let's get into our movie trailers.
I'm excited for 1, 2, 3.
I'm excited for most of these.
6. Most of them. There's a couple in it that I'm just kind of like whatever on.
Black Sea trailer.
This is one of the ones that I'm kind of like whatever on.
It has starring Ethan Hawke, or not Ethan Hawke, Jude Law.
Jude Law.
They're kind of the same person.
You get them confused a lot.
Yeah. Well, they were both in Gattaca.
They're both in Gattaca together.
And, yeah.
You need to watch Gattaca again.
I do.
You keep bringing it up. So you need to watch it again.
Gattaca. It's called Black Sea. Basically, it's a submarine mechanic or submariner guy that works on submarines.
Yeah.
He gets fired, and in order to make some more money, he finds out that there's a German U-boat that was sunk out in the Black Sea.
Full of gold.
100
It's the gold at the bottom of the lake.
Yep, there's all a bunch of doubloons.
Yep. Well, the bottom of the Black Sea, which is kind of a lake, isn't it?
It's a very large lake.
Yeah.
Very large lake. So they hire a team of people to go out and get $198 million worth of gold.
And at first you're like, oh, it's going to be kind of like a heist movie or something. But then you're like, wait, there's nowhere they're stealing it from. They're going down into the deep ocean. Oh, it's a thriller where they're all trying to kill each other.
Yep. And they even say that what happens when they find out that their share of the gold gets larger, the less people there are to have it.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. That makes sense.
Yeah. So no honor among thieves.
Pretty much. It does look kind of interesting. So we'll probably go see it if there's nothing else out.
Yeah, it looks like one of those movies that I'll end up red boxing.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. There's another one that I didn't think I would care about, but I'm kind of interested in.
I'm sort of interested in this coming from a perspective of somebody who doesn't like movies that like this usually.
It's called American Sniper.
Yeah.
It's starring Bradley Cooper.
Yep.
I said Cooper, didn't I?
You said.
It sounded like
Cooper
said, or something.
It almost sounded like you said Bradley Kubrick, like Stanley Kubrick's son.
Oh, no. Okay, I mean, I'd be okay with that because we like Stanley Kubrick.
Yes, we do.
But it is about an American sniper he's one of they call him one of the greatest snipers. I think there's a book written about him.
Probably.
One of my military friends, Adam, if you're listening.
Hi.
Hi.
He was on the podcast.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. Fan favorite.
That's why I said they're like, we're tired of this Scott and Gory person. Let's talk to Adam instead. If he knows about this, I believe it's based off a book. about like a biography of him.
Yeah,
he had
like 200 confirmed
200 and something
kills.
confirmed
Yeah.
kills. One of the best snipers out there. The trailer's really suspenseful, though.
Yeah.
Even though it's not. It is, but it isn't. There's a lot of just like him just sitting there, and he's like, hey, I got a guy on the roof talking on a cell phone. And
Looking
then
at the caravan.
And then his commander comes on and says, he could be reporting troop positions. Take him out. It's your call.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and then he doesn't because the guy runs away. And then it's a kid and a wife that comes out, and he's like, they're running, and she's not moving her arms. She's carrying something, and then she pulls out a rocket-propelled grenade.
Yeah. Well, no, that's the thing is it looks like she pulls out an artillery shell or something, and she hands it to the kid, and this kid starts walking with the shell in his hands.
Running.
No, he starts walking.
Then he runs.
Okay. Because I don't know. It could be that the kid's just trying to give them munitions.
Yeah, give it back to him. We found this in our backyard.
And you want this back.
And then you don't know if he pulled the trigger or not.
Yep.
Because he zooms in on the kid with the scope, and that's it.
And
So
then
it's
it
kind of
cuts.
suspenseful. And
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's
seems interesting.
another war movie like Hurt Locker, or what was the one that came out just recently? The one with Mark Wahlberg or
Oh yeah, Lone Survivor.
Lone Survivor. Is that Mark Wahlberg or is that the other guy?
That's Marky Mark.
Matt Damon.
No, it's Marky Mark.
Okay, because I always get them confused.
They're kind of different, but okay.
No, they're very similar looking in my opinion.
Oh, all right.
So,
All right.
but I mean, my boss will like it. He likes all this kind of war stuff, so I'll let him know about that because he doesn't listen to the podcast.
Yeah. Thankfully, you'd probably be fired. If that
Yeah,
was
I
the
probably
case.
would be fired by now.
There's a new one coming out from Pixar.
Yay!
About time.
Yay!
About time.
Yeah.
I mean, it has been like a year and a half. Brave.
Yeah, Brave was, I think, 2013.
Yeah.
So,
Early 2013, wasn't
Yeah.
it? Like January, February, March, something like that.
I can't remember.
But anyway, it's been a while. And they've got a new one coming out called Inside Out.
Yeah, this trailer starts out by tugging on your heartstrings and basically saying, you know all those Pixar movies that you love? Well, they've all got these emotions in them, and they're like joy, sadness,
Anger,
disgust.
fear.
Yeah, and it's like, and you're like, oh, Pixar's trying to rope us back in after a year hiatus by saying, you know, we've done all these great things. Come check out our new thing. And then they show that the movie's going to take place inside a girl's head, with her different emotions being like avatars that run her brain, basically. Osmosis Jones style, for those of you who remember that movie.
That when you were telling me about this first, before we watched the trailer, that's exactly the first thing that came to mind.
Yeah.
You're like, Inside Out, and I'm like, oh, like Osmosis Jones.
Yeah, exactly.
With Bill Murray.
Good movie, by the way. Very good movie. I enjoy that one a whole lot.
So-
And then they get into the actual like teaser where they show the characters, and it's just little short thing, but I look at it and I'm like, yeah, okay, I can get into that.
Yeah. No, it looks good, and I'm excited. I like Pixar movies.
One of the comments that I saw in there, like the top comments, was this is going to be a Imager or a Tumblr movie or something, basically like a meme movie because it's like, oh, just pull the sadness picture out and put it into any meme, like for being sad, you know, like it's made for
Oh yeah,
social
you mean
media.
the sadness avatar?
Yeah, the sadness avatar. So
Yeah. So that's pretty cool. They're coming out with something. Interstellar has its fourth and final trailer before
I'm
it comes
finally interested, Scott.
out. It took long enough.
Yeah.
I saw Interstellar by Chris Nolan and sort of time travel space movie. I was like, I'm there.
I
totally
saw
there.
Chris Nolan and I went, I'm sick of you.
Because you're sick of Batman.
I really don't like Chris Nolan I mean, he's okay. I don't like the fact that he thinks fans need to keep up with his movies when he doesn't make his characters clear enough when they speak. Because when they were talking about Bane in Dark Knight Rises, the biggest complaint from like the test audiences was you couldn't understand Bane hardly at all, which has been a problem with Batman throughout the series. And Chris Nolan's response to that was, well, you guys just need to think faster.
Yeah, that's not really the nicest. I never heard that, actually.
Yeah, and the
that's
studio-
not really the nicest thing to say.
And then Warner Brothers came out and said, no, clear up the voice, you dumbass.
Yeah.
Basically, that's the basic reason why I'm not a huge Chris Nolan fan, and then I just never really got on the fanboy bandwagon.
Yeah.
It's all the way down there, and I'm back here, so whatever. But Interstellar, I mean, the first trailer, Okay, they're doing something with space travel.
Yeah, and that's it. All
Second
you know is
one-
it's mostly Earth stuff.
Yeah.
Second one, there's a teeny bit more space stuff. Third
Yeah,
one's a
and
teeny
third
bit
was-
more than that.
And
Fourth
finally you
one
see
is like-
Anne Hathaway, and then the fourth one is like all about the space travel.
Yeah, and you
and
find
where they
out
go.
all these crazy places they go, and
You
all
see
this
the cool
interesting stuff.
technology that they're using.
There's this weird walking robot, and Corey was like, "Dang you, Chris Nolan! Now I have to see it."
Yeah, exactly.
Because robots.
Yeah.
Speaking of robots, there's a movie called Automata coming out.
With Antonio Banderas.
Antonio Banderas. And a bunch of other names that
Antonio Banderas?
Banderas. There's probably Antonio Bandanas.
Antonio Bandanas.
Antonio Bananas. There's a bunch of other names on there that you won't recognize by name alone, but the minute you see them, you're like, that I've seen
person.
him. I've seen him 1,000 places.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen her 1,000 places.
That guy from that thing.
Yep, exactly. It is basically a better iRobot.
You think it's a better iRobot and you've only seen the trailer?
Yeah.
I thought iRobot was a really good movie.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty good too. It kind of butchered Isaac Asimov's short story.
Really?
Yeah, under the same title or something similar, I believe.
Yeah.
And this one is also based off an Asimov story. He
it is?
loved robots.
Okay.
Obviously,
Yeah.
he's one of the top three. Him, Heinlein, and someone else, maybe Kubrick, were the top three, like the greatest sci-fi contributors. Oh no, sorry, not Heinlein. Ray Bradbury.
Bradbury. Okay.
Not. Let me rewind. You got Isaac Asimov.
Okay.
You've got Robert A. Heinlein.
Okay.
And you've got Ray Bradbury.
Okay.
Those are the top three contributors to sci-fi
Okay.
in most people's minds.
It looks really cool.
Yeah.
I like the way the robots look.
It's a
They
lot of
look,
it's a lot of what happens if robots gain consciousness and realize that they are some sort of alive. Not necessarily like plants and animals, but they are doing stuff. They're living their life, their robot life.
They're altering their features. They're repairing
they're
themselves.
fixing themselves. Like
They're creating other robots. Like I saw the one guy let go like a robotic roach and let it wander off.
yeah,
Which
and
is
and so it's kind of all about that. What happens when you give enough sentience to an AI or a robot of some sort, and it's how far will you let it go? Like obviously there's humans that don't want to let it to do anything, but in this, they actually go and they create their own civilization, society, that kind of stuff.
I like it because the graphics look really good on it. I could not tell if those robots were practical effects or if they were CG.
I think they're both.
Yeah, I think there's probably a combination.
You know what it reminded
in
me of
there.
though?
What?
Elysium in District 9.
Oh,
It looked like Neil Blomkamp. Blom.
You know what?
Blankenflonk. I can't say his name.
Neil
ever.
Blum.
Blumberbus. Neil Blumberbus.
Okay.
Just like all of his District 9 stuff.
That is pretty much the first thing that came to my mind when I saw the robots in their colony was District 9.
Which is another movie that's so good that we totally forgot on our sci-fi episode.
We did. I think we mentioned District 9. Because we mentioned Elysium.
Oh, yeah. So then
And
naturally.
naturally we would go to District 9 from there.
But I saw that. I saw that it was coming out, and I read the synopsis, and I was like, ooh, this is cool. So I think we mentioned it during the sci-fi episode, two back. And I'd never seen a trailer for it. I finally found a trailer, and I went, whoa, this looks good. Stop yawning.
I'm sorry, I can't help
Quit it. Ugh, I'm tired, too, but quit it.
It has just been a long day, that's all.
So another one coming out, Taken Trace.
Hit smacking the table with your feet.
Taken 3.
Taken 3, the takening.
The Untakening.
The untakening. The deathening.
It is another Liam Neeson punching slowly.
That's all I could think about during the trailer was I was just like, why can't these people dodge Liam Neeson? This is just like he's just like ugh.
Seriously, watch any movie.
Like
watch any movie with
sand.
Liam Neeson punching someone, and he punches so slowly.
It's like they do all of his action scenes underwater and then just digitally get
And then
rid of the
digitally
water.
yeah, because that would be easy. That's less expensive than just doing them out in real life.
Yes.
No, we watched Taken 2, and the whole time I'm thinking, throw a punch faster, because they're just slow punches.
But Taken 3 looks more the same.
Kind of, yeah. It's he gets set up.
Yeah.
The other two were someone actually got taken or kidnapped. In the third one, In the third one, he gets set up.
And his wife dies, and
they frame him for murder, and then he has to go and...
Or his ex-wife, technically.
Yeah. Famke Janssen. The transvestite from...
Stop it.
from Nip Tuck.
I hate you for telling me that. Because now all I can see is like her as a transvestite. And
as a former dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, she definitely isn't, but...
She looks very manly.
She does kind of have a little bit of managed features. Yeah. That's true.
Yeah.
But Taken 3, it'd probably be okay, because 1 and 2 were decent. They weren't like the greatest movies ever, but...
I haven't seen 2.
It was all right.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm going to say it was all right. It's probably better than Wolf Punch, the movie.
Everything is better than Wolf Punch, the movie.
And that's gray, by the way, if you have no idea what we're talking about. What we call Wolf Punch.
It's on Netflix.
Yeah, it's where William Neeson punches a wolf in the face.
He never does, actually.
It needs to be.
Yeah, that would have
made it more interesting.
But I think he's just about to punch the wolf, and it cuts to the end credits.
And the last trailer, but definitely not the least.
No.
Probably the best of all of our trailers we watched today.
Oh, I'm so excited.
In fact, we actually paused the podcast in the middle of it.
I forgot about this until...
Corey just starts pointing at me, pointing at the computer, and making weird snapping finger noises and stuff. And I'm like, what are you doing? I'm thinking that there's something wrong with the computer, like it crashed and we're going to lose all of our recording.
Nope.
He just wanted to watch the Throne of Atlantis trailer coming out.
For the new Justice League / DC animated movie.
Which... I have to say, that was a good pause, a good choice to make us pause.
That was a good use of the pause feature.
Because it looks awesome.
You get your Aquaman movie
and you
finally.
You get to see that he is way better than just talking to fish.
Yeah.
Thank you a lot, Robot Chicken.
Yeah.
They kind of ruined it for everyone.
Yeah, they ruined Aquaman for a little bit there.
Yeah.
So.
But it looks fantastic. It's got Jason Momoa as Batman. You've got Nathan Fillion as Green Lantern.
Reprising his role. He wasn't in the last
No, he was not, but he is now.
Justice League. I'm pretty sure Alan Tudyk isn't back as Superman this time either.
Huh.
So
well, I guess we'll see.
I'm not sure who's going to be Superman. But it's basically Aquaman versus the Atlanteans.
The Atlantean
featuring
army.
the Justice League.
Yep. It looks awesome.
Yep.
It didn't say when it was coming out, though.
Usually they
November.
come out...
November, December.
Maybe a November release or maybe middle or like February or
Don't
something
they do
like
2
that.
a year, usually?
They usually do 2 a year. And we've gotten...
May
2 a year, I thought.
May was when the last one was.
May was they did the Son of Batman in May, and then they did Assault on Arkham in like August. Remember? September.
Maybe
August.
they're doing 3 this year.
It would be cool if they did 3, but I think we're gonna get a release next year for it. So
3 a year would be okay. Every 4 months.
Yeah,
gives us enough time to watch it 2 or 3 times.
That may not give the animators enough time to animate, but who cares? We just want to watch it.
Animate quicker.
We're podcasters. It's our duty to tell people to do things, and it's other people's duties to actually figure out how to do them.
Yes. So that was the trailers for this week.
It was great.
Let's talk about. We watched Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Season 2, Episode 2, and we watched Gotham Season 2, Episode 2.
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. was a continuation from the last episode.
Mm-hmm.
Really good still.
Contained the Absorbing Man still.
Yep.
Awesome.
Got a lot more interaction between a bunch of different characters that are probably going to be the good characters, like the black mechanic that they've got. The guy who's black and a mechanic. Blackanic.
That's a superhero name?
Fitz.
Yeah,
and
Simmons is
working
the girl.
with him and everything, and poor Lucy Lawless's character didn't even make it an episode. she and the other guy and another mercenary were just there to get the third guy onto the cast, apparently. So
yeah,
but it seems really cool. And then at the end, May and Coulson have a really interesting moment. We won't spoil it for you.
Yeah, you need to watch it. It's good. It started off great, and it's still great.
Yep.
And hopefully it keeps going.
My wife was right there with us watching the second episode, and she wasn't complaining about it at all.
I think I heard her say something about maybe I need to watch the first season so I know a little bit more about what's going on.
Yeah.
It's pretty surprising. It means it was that good.
Yep. And then Gotham 2 Season 2, or Gotham 1 Season 1.
Season 1, Episode
2 was good.
Yes. I really enjoyed it. It's still cop drama, of course. Mm-hmm. But this one, I don't know. It's just good. This one's got a lot more Selena Kyle
Yes.
in it. A lot more like early Catwoman.
And you kind
stuff
of get a
going on.
glimpse into what the show is going to be like more, because the first episode's setting up who these characters are and how they're going to interact with each other.
Mm-hmm.
And the second episode is more about like what the show is going to be about, namely a cop drama
Yeah.
with Batman characters.
And oh
They
my
mentioned
gosh.
somebody, the doll maker.
Yes.
in it,
Yes.
which is-
Oh my gosh. Don't ever tell Penguin he looks like a penguin.
Yeah.
He will straight up murder you.
He will murder you. Like that is no joke. He will murder you.
Yeah, these two frat boys pick him up and they're like, "Hey, did you know when you walk like that, you look like a penguin?"
He's like, no,
Like,
nobody's ever
no one's
me
ever
that.
told me that. And then he breaks a beer bottle and kills the guy
Yeah.
from the back seat.
And then kidnaps the other one.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, don't ever piss off the penguin,
Yeah.
which is weird because you don't see this in the comics. You don't see that side of Penguin in the comics. You see the planning,
The
never gets his
business side.
never gets his hands dirty Penguin.
Yeah.
You know, so he never goes to jail type of thing. Only his lackeys go to jail.
Yeah. Well, he
Yeah.
had to start somewhere.
That's true. But holy crap.
Yep. And
Don't
I
ever
know
call him
our
Penguin.
I know our parents watched the first episode and they said that they really enjoyed it.
Yeah, we'll have to get him to watch
So-
the rest of them.
And that's just a glowing recommendation for all of you parents out there. You know, all you people who like cop dramas. My parents are huge into them, so it's really, really good. And then we actually watched the New Simpsons Family Guy crossover too.
Oh my gosh, yes. And laughed probably 70% of the time.
Yep. You're giving it a low ball there. It was more like 80, 85.
Okay.
Yeah.
A lot. A lot of the time.
Their jokes were funny. The humor was there. You kind of got a cool mix of, and they even made fun of the fact that they were doing a crossover in the first like 2 minutes. They were talking about how crossover episodes are amazing. They always work and they always bring revitalization to the franchises and blah blah blah. You know,
And it never stinks of desperation.
no. So it was really good. There's a couple scenes in there where you're just like, oh, why are you showing me this?
But why can't I stop watching? Because it's so funny.
Namely, the Homer Simpson Family Guy or Peter Griffin car wash scene.
Yes.
Enjoy it.
Yeah, she's my cherry pie. That's all I got to say.
All right.
Topic of the week.
Topic of the week this week.
Topic of the week to you.
Topic of the week to you. We've talked about fantasy. We've talked
Yes.
about sci-fi.
Yes.
I figured, why not talk about another part of geekdom, namely comic books.
Which goes into both fantasy and sci-fi.
Mm-hmm. I figured we'd split this up. Today we're going to talk about, or this week we're going to talk about Marvel. Next week we're going to talk about DC and what we like and don't like from there and why we like those comics better than others and et cetera, et cetera. And then maybe after that we'll go into third-party comics.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit.
Boom and Dark Horse.
Yeah.
Dark
Maybe
Horse Image.
We might roll that in with the DC one if we don't have too much to talk about.
No. You have a lot to talk about Marvel. I have a lot to talk about DC.
I have a lot to talk about with DC too,
yeah,
actually.
we've got a lot to talk about.
And for those of you who are tuning in with your copies of The Death of Superman, we are sorry. We forgot to mention it the last podcast, so we wanted to give people more time. That is coming probably sometime in November.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just read it. Read it anyways. It's good. And then join us later when we actually go and reread it.
Yeah.
Because I have to reread it to remember everything that happened
Me
in
too.
it.
Me too. So, but we're talking about Marvel. Yay! Scott, do you like Marvel comics?
I do.
You do?
I don't like them as much as DC Comics, but
Okay.
I still like them, which makes me an outlier.
Yeah.
Most people are Marvel fans.
zombies, is what they're called, basically,
and,
actually.
and not because they're any better or worse, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
I think they have a different take on comics.
They have a darker take, in my
Yes,
opinion.
more realism.
Yeah.
Darker colors.
And that's why a lot of people like
darker
Marvel.
themes.
Is, Superman's big and blue and bold, and he's there to save the day.
Yep.
He's a superhero. He is the superhero.
Yeah.
For like whenever there is a superhero parody in a TV show, they've always got the Superman look.
Yes.
Because he's the most recognizable.
Yes. He was the first superhero, like the first printed superhero.
I mean,
so.
he's got the whole package. Super strength, super speed. You looked at me like I meant package in a different way. I didn't. That's not what I meant at all, Scott.
This is my tired face. So whatever I look at, you just ignore
All
me.
right. But Marvel, on the other hand, has a lot of down-to-earth characters that
Have flaws.
have huge flaws.
Yeah, DC's
a psychopath.
DC's going into that.
Yeah.
Marvel has had it for a long time.
Yeah. I mean, Wolverine's got a troubled past, and he's kind of a berserker, gets into these weird rages.
Yep.
Spider-Man's pretty much depression.
And he's poor.
Yeah, and he's poor. Yes.
He's a poor.
How much more real can you get?
Yeah.
He's Iron Man's got a drinking problem.
Yep.
Moon Knight is bipolar.
Okay.
Same with what's his name? What was his name? Scott Sentry. The Sentry.
Yeah.
Sentry's bipolar.
Sentry's actually schizophrenic.
Mm-hmm. Thor is strong-headed and stupid.
And kind of a womanizer.
Yeah, kind of a womanizer, kind of a lush.
Yep.
And Captain America is the man out of time. I mean, this is not his time. He's not happy with the fact that he's here. He does what he needs to do, though. And that's the thing is the Hulk. Don't even get into the Hulk's flaws.
He's just a guy with anger problems.
Yeah. And that's the thing about Marvel is it's stories about these characters who we have problem A or X or X or X or Y or Y or Z.
And let's clarify, Marvel's more recognizable right now because of the movies, because of the TV shows.
Yeah.
DC doesn't have that. They don't have that stuff under their belt like Marvel does. They can't.
They're starting to.
But everyone, I mean, people, if you ask people, do you like DC or Marvel? And they're like, Marvel all the way. And then you ask them, have you read any comics? Well, no, not really.
No,
but I've seen all the movies. I've watched all the TV shows. Okay.
Because really the only thing DC had going for them in the past 10 years is Batman, the Dark Knight trilogy.
Pretty much all the Batmans, actually. Because they're...
DC, I mean, Superman was there a little bit,
barely
in the 70s and 80s, and but Marvel, you've got all these characters who have these problems, but yet they put them aside in order to help other people. So it makes kind of for a greater, more compelling superhero story.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that DC doesn't have compelling superheroes; they're just a little bit more. We do everything right, kind of the righteous, kind of. It's kind of like looking at. Going back to fantasy, it's kind of looking at a paladin who does everything because it's the right thing to do, or a rogue, where Marvel is the rogue, where they're in it for themselves, or they have their problems or their debts they have to pay off, but they're putting aside that to save the world.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I really like Marvel. I don't get as many comics as I do as the other company, but
then that's the thing is I love Marvel. But I don't hardly read any Marvel.
I don't. And you know why? Because the majority of Marvel are like X-Men comics. Yeah. I'd say probably, 30-40% of the comics out there are all X-Men related or in X-Men.
Some weird mutant.
Which is huge.
Yeah.
People love the X-Men. Not everyone likes it. Me and Corey are not the greatest fans of them.
Nope.
We enjoyed the animated cartoon when it was on when we were younger. Yeah. But other than that, we don't.
Which, by the way, does not hold up. Oh
no,
my gosh, that cartoon is terrible.
It is so bad.
It's really bad. So going into some that I do enjoy, I'm a super fan of the Avengers, of course, not just from the movies, but I love the ever-changing team dynamic and the stories contained within.
Yeah, as comparison, the Justice League has had pretty much the same 6 characters forever.
Yeah, there's always a Superman on the Justice League.
The Avengers has had every character under the sun, it seems like, in it, and then some. Yeah. Some that were only, D-listers.
Yeah.
For a while, I hate to say this to people that love Iron Man, but Iron Man was a C-list character. He was not an A-lister.
He wasn't like the leader of the Avengers.
No.
He was there. He was there as a member.
Yep.
I enjoy Ant-Man and Wasp are some of my favorite characters on the Avengers. I can't wait for the Ant-Man movie. I think that, first of all, the main reason is I love shape-changing, like any shape-changing power or size-altering power is really cool, in my opinion.
Yeah. Spider-Man's been on the Avengers.
Spider-Man's another one of my favorites. My wife's absolute favorite Marvel character.
Speaking of an X-Man, you've got Wolverine. He's been on the Avengers for most of the time.
Yeah, I'll get into X-Men in just a minute here. I have things to say about them that might lose me some geek cred. I'm a huge fan of the Inhumans, which are like the X-Men of space.
Well, and they're getting more and more popular, and we're getting to like them more and more because since Marvel, the studios Marvel Studios and Disney cannot say the word mutant.
Yeah.
You know, they have to make everything Inhuman now, which Inhumans are basically mutants.
Yeah,
I mean,
and it's kind of the
all
same
there is to
thing
it.
and everything. I'm just a huge fan of them. But my favorite superhero, Marvel, Captain America.
Okay.
There's no other character that can command any character in the Marvel universe and have them respect him. I mean, there's a few like Baron Zemo and like his main rogues gallery are probably the only people that he cannot get to do what he wants. Like if there's a crossover,
And they're
event,
always Nazis. They're
That's
always
true.
like old Nazis.
like, we remember you from the war. We hate you.
Baron Strucker, Baron Zemo, Red Skull. Yeah. Well, I mean, Doctor Doom is not a Nazi, but he doesn't really follow any
but
of
that's
the
the
rules.
thing. That's the thing is, I think if there were a crossover event where Captain America was working with Doom and he told Doom to do something, Doom would probably say, okay, only because it's you, Cap. You know, like you're the only one who can actually, like, I'll actually agree with on this.
Yeah. Doom is only agreeing because it suits his needs or something.
Exactly. He'd make up some excuse, but he'd still do what Captain America wants. And that's the thing is, even the Hulk, like, fully hulked out, Cap can say, Hulk, you know, go do this, Hulk smash. And the Hulk will be like, okay, I'll do what you want, you know, which is really cool.
No, I Captain America, I liked him. The movie came out, and then, you know, Avengers, I like him even more now.
Mm-hmm. Because you had Avengers, and then you had Captain America 2. Dang it! You're making me on now.
What is wrong with us today?
The Winter Soldier was a really good movie with him.
Oh, fantastic movie.
so
we
good.
watched it, 3 times since we bought it now?
We might have to watch it again.
Yeah,
By the way,
today.
I found all of my old DC animated movies. I finally found where I put them.
Nice.
So I know where Justice League Doom and everything is now. And
So we can finally watch them all.
Yeah, we can watch them again. Some other heroes that I like. I'm a huge fan of Luke Cage and Iron Fist. I think they're cool street level.
Well, let's hold on for a sec on that.
Okay.
Because I wanted to go, what is your top 5 male
Okay.
superheroes from Marvel, and what's your top 5 female
Okay,
from
so-
Marvel? I know we've talked about this before. Can you pull them from memory, or make them up on the spot even?
I can pull them, and then I'm gonna return the question back at you.
Okay.
So you better
All right.
be ready. Number 1 is Captain America.
Okay.
My wife
naturally,
doesn't like that
naturally.
because number 2 is Iron Man, and Iron Man used to be my number 1 back when the new movie came out, and back even before that with the old '90s cartoon. I enjoyed him before I started reading comics. I think Captain America is he's suave and cool, and every geek's dream is to have a suit of armor that they can command and do electronic work on. Number 3 would be Spider-Man.
Okay.
I'd say number 4 is Gambit.
Okay.
Okay.
An X-Men.
I'm actually a fan of Gambit. I think he's really cool, and his abilities are nice. And again, he's kind of that suave, charming character that every guy wants to be.
Right.
And then I would say number 5 would be Ant-Man. I would say Ant-Man. I mean, there's problems with Ant-Man. Yes, we all know that he hit his wife one time. But so has Peter. So has Spider-Man.
Yeah.
A lot of people forget that.
And probably a lot of other people have too.
It's
It
always been
all
an
depends on the
accident.
writer and what's going on in the news right now, and all of a sudden whoever they're writing becomes a wife beater or abuser, and then 3 issues later it's never brought up again.
Yeah.
You know.
So top 5 female. Number 1 is She-Hulk.
Okay.
I like She-Hulk. I think she's
Good
a very
choice, good
independent
choice.
character.
Yes.
And I think she's
Very
just
strong,
great.
very strong female, strongly written female character.
Yep.
I mean, she's strong in general for her powers.
Yes,
but
exactly. Number 2 would be Black Cat because she's sometimes a hero. Can I count that?
Yeah.
Like
she's a anti-hero.
Yeah, she's the kind of the Catwoman of the Marvel universe.
Okay,
and
that's good because I've got an anti-hero on my
good.
top 5 males.
Number 3. I can already think of the anti-hero. I think I know who you're talking about, but I'll get to that. We'll get to that in a second. Number 3, I would say, is the mother of superheroes, kind of, Sue Storm / Sue Richards, the Invisible Woman.
Okay.
I think she's a powerful character and a very matronly character.
She's usually not very well written from what I've seen or what I've read.
I've read stuff where she's extremely well written, and there was one point in the Marvel universe where they tried to bimbo fire basically. Give her like the really skimpy suit and everything, and you just look at her and it was like looking at your mother.
You're like, ooh.
Okay, no.
And we're not going to talk about Jessica Alba in the movies because 1, she's a terrible actress.
Yeah.
I can't stand her.
And 2, there doesn't need to be 2 because 1, she's a terrible actress.
Yeah, it's just the wrong choice for a Sue Storm.
Number 4 would be Medusa from the Inhumans. I've been getting to be a huge fan of hers.
So you have to explain this to most people because most people have no idea who the Inhumans are, let alone any of them.
So Medusa is not snake hair and freezes people. She has long hair, long red hair,
like 20 feet long,
and it's it's invincible and prehensile. Yeah. So she can wrap not her victims, but she can wrap the bad guys up and smother them. And
she's wrapped up like bombs and stuff in it before they explode, and grenades.
She's wrapped up people on fire to put them out and everything like that. So she's really cool. The Queen of Atlantis, and now not Atlantis, Attilan, which is very confusing.
The Atlanta in the sky.
Yes. Atlanta in the sky. Is that what you said? Atlanta in the sky.
Yeah, Atlanta in the sky. Atlantis in the sky.
Oh, and then number 5. What? Oh, I actually, because she's been getting a lot more play, I would have to say Black Widow.
Okay.
Natasha Romanoff.
Yeah, that's a good choice. Good choice.
Shoot. You know what? I got to go with her as my number 3 and kick out the Invisible Woman for Wasp. I'm actually a huge fan of Wasp.
Yes.
So I got to put her as my number 5. Her and Ant-Man are both number 5 slots. That works perfectly. All right. So, your top 5, men and women.
For the men, my top 5, Hulk.
Of course.
He has always been my favorite. He's always been my top 5 out of all of them.
He's the full top 5. Hulk.
Hulk
again.
Hulk, Gray Hulk.
Bruce Banner.
Then another one that I really like, and these are not necessarily in 1 through 5 who I like the best. Hulk, obviously, he's the first one that comes to mind when everyone's like, favorite Marvel superhero, Hulk.
Yeah.
Another one that I really like Hyperion.
Oh, yeah, from Avengers World.
Well, he initially came from another comic company. I believe he was from like Image Comics or something, and DC acquired him and brought him into Marvel. Oh, sorry, Marvel acquired him, and they brought him into the main Marvel world.
Right, that makes sense.
Yeah. Another one.
Superman-y.
Yeah, he's kind of like the Superman analog for those guys.
Mm-hmm. And he does really good, which would make sense why you like him so much.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of that kind of stuff. I don't really care about heroes that I can relate to.
Yeah.
When I'm reading a comic, for fun.
Yeah,
exactly. And I want a hero that's larger than life. That's going to be able to break a whole world in half with one punch. Like I love that kind of stuff. I think that's awesome. It's fun. Another one for there, it's Sentinel. The Sentinel.
The Sentinel?
Yeah.
I've never heard. Marvel character?
Sorry, Sentry. Oh my gosh.
I was like,
Sentry.
you like the Sentinel, but they just attack mutants.
I know. They're just big purple and pink robots.
The Sentry.
The Sentry. Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh.
I talked about him earlier.
Yes, I talked about him earlier. He's schizophrenic. And his power levels vary. They go all over the place.
Yeah. He's got the power of a sun, basically.
Or 1,000 suns, depending on who's writing him and how much they need.
Which is kind of how comic book.
But he's done some other stuff that not necessarily just makes him super powerful.
Mm-hmm.
He's done some stuff where he's changed into a psychic being
called the Void.
Yeah, the Void comes out and does all kinds of crazy stuff.
Yeah.
So I guess number 4, Ghost Rider.
Oh, okay.
I always forget about him until I'm done making my list. I'm like, crap,
Ghost Rider.
I love Ghost Rider.
Yeah.
He is one of my all-time favorites. Always has been. Love the first Ghost Rider movie. The second one sucks just because that sucks.
Yeah, well, that
just wasn't written very well. But I love the concept of he is the embodiment of hell. He comes back. He's the spirit of vengeance for hell. Basically, he is the same thing.
He punishes the guilty.
Yeah, he's the same thing as the Spectre.
Oh yeah,
is in DC Comics. Except for the Spectre is more for the spirit of vengeance from heaven rather than hell.
Oh, who would win, Spectre or Ghost Rider?
I'm gonna say Ghost Rider because I like Ghost Rider better.
I think Spectre might be able to beat him though.
I'm gonna say Ghost Rider still, but Ghost Rider started off with he was just a very powerful being that did the devil's handiwork.
Yeah,
Devil's like, hey, I want you to bring that guy back to hell because he escaped.
Yeah,
this demon is taking over a town. Go get him, which kind of makes the devil a semi-good guy.
Kinda. I think it's more of he doesn't want people in his realm.
Sure.
He doesn't want other demons in his realm.
Yeah, but it's just kind of one of those things. So he sends a Ghost Rider after him, and there's always been a Ghost Rider.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one of the best parts of the original Ghost Rider is when him and
Sam Elliott
mount up on Sam Elliott gets on the horse and Nick Cage gets on his motorcycle and they both transform into Ghost Rider.
Yeah.
It's so cool. But I love
Western Ghost Rider is just so much cooler than regular Ghost Rider too.
Yep.
I have to say that's just awesome.
Yeah, so I really like that. And in fact, one of the new Ghost Riders is a guy driving a hot rod around.
That's right. Yeah, he's
on
in
fire
California,
hot rod.
and he's got like a El Camino or something like that.
So Ghost Rider hasn't always been the same person.
Yeah,
he
goes from whoever the devil makes a deal with and chooses to be the spirit. So,
and so for my last one is kind of my anti-hero.
Okay.
You said you think you knew what it was.
I'm gonna say Punisher.
Yep. You'd be correct. He's one of my number 5 on the list. I really like Punisher. I really like his character. I love his backstory about, a mob comes and kills his whole family and tries to kill him, but then he survives and he basically becomes vengeance.
Yeah.
Not Ghost Rider level vengeance, but enough. And he does the stuff.
Punishment.
Punishment. That's right. Revenge. Punishment.
Not revenge. Punishment.
Okay, just punishment. He does the stuff that most other Marvel characters won't.
As in kill people.
Yeah.
He kills people outright.
Yeah, he'll hunt them down and murder them. He'll punish them.
Although that is a way that like the Marvel universe is going to a more like, oh, you're doing bad things. Well, in the heat of battle, we will be okay killing you. Spider-Man still holds off on killing everybody, but like Iron Man and Captain America, they're like, if you're attacking me,
Thor
and somebody dies,
Thor's all about like war.
Yeah, exactly.
Thor was gonna go on my list, but then I was like, everyone picks Thor.
He's on my other characters list as Thor. And Deadpool. A lot of people were probably surprised that Deadpool wasn't on my list. I like the character, but I like him for completely different reasons than like being a total badass favorite top 5.
So
females.
My female. Can you guess my number 1?
I am going to say. Ooh, hold on. Give me a moment.
Huh?
Give me a moment. Jean Grey as the Phoenix?
Oh gosh, no.
No. Okay.
Not even close.
Just give me a minute. Give me. Oh my gosh!
I can't believe
I have to give you a geek card because it's Miss Marvel, aka Captain Marvel.
Yes.
I'm sorry. I couldn't think of her, and she. You know what? She could make it on my list too. Like that. That is a really
Captain
good
Marvel.
Character.
She's a ex-Air Force pilot, which that doesn't really matter to me because whatever.
Yeah.
But she
was given powers of the Kree Empire.
Yep. From a dying Kree, from a dying alien
called Captain Marvel.
Captain Marvel. So you got Captain Marvel, and she's fantastic. She's fun.
Her comic is amazing.
She's a normal human being.
Yeah.
I mean, the first issue of the comic shows her for a few pages chilling at her house, just like relaxing, petting her cat, watching Netflix.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, she's just a normal person, and then it's like, oh, there's a giant world-ending threat. All right, I'll put the suit on.
All right, let's go.
But she's my favorite.
I'm sorry, I should have known that from the get-go.
You should have. Then the next two are fairly tied. One's a little higher than the other, but I like She-Hulk and Red She-Hulk.
Okay.
One for the super strength, and I do just barely though.
Yeah.
One for the super strength, but I just love that Jennifer Walters is such a strongly written character, and she's like independent, starts her own law firm. She's a lawyer. She spends more time in her She-Hulk form than her human form.
Has weird eyes.
That's just the art in the latest one.
I know.
But yes, I agree. Whoever's drawing that comic, you need to sit down and draw eyes over and over and over again until you learn how to draw them properly, because they are terrible. I am not even an artist, and I can draw eyes better than you, and you are bad at it. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry for anyone that thinks it's great art. Everything else is fine, but he's bad. They're so far apart.
They're so bad.
They're worse than Uma Thurman's eyes. He needs an eye wrangler. He needs
an eye wrangler. That's right.
To bring him in.
All right, so I would say Red She-Hulk's really cool just because she's kind of more of that fury.
Yeah, she's just the pure anger version of the Hulk or the She-Hulk. Gwen Stacy. Not actually a superhero or super.
She is now.
Well, in Edge of the Spider-Verse,
and they're planning on doing a little bit more with her in like something like Spider-Woman. Hopefully, eventually she'll get her own comic, which I would love to see.
Good, yeah. I just really like Gwen. I'm a Gwen Stacy fan. I'm Team Stacy.
Is that just because Emma Stone played
No,
Gwen
I
Stacy?
like Gwen Stacy before she was on.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Okay.
I do
I
not.
wish I could use your
like,
time machine and go back before Amazing Spider-Man
I do not
came
like
out.
Mary Jane. I never have. I've always thought she's just annoying.
And she kind of does treat Peter like crap.
Yeah,
most
treats
of the
her
time.
like crap. Where Gwen Stacy is like the perfect girlfriend.
Yeah. And
And not
that's
in a
true.
sexist way. I mean, she doesn't make him sandwiches or anything like that.
No.
She's just awesome.
Yeah.
She just cares for him. She's nice to him.
She doesn't really care if he misses her recital. She doesn't have recitals. but-
She's okay with the fact that he's Spider-Man
Yeah.
and that he might have other duties to do
Yeah.
other than come hang out with her family at a dinner or something
Yeah,
like that.
exactly.
Yeah, I like Gwen Stacy. There's a cool statue on Sideshow Collectibles of her walking in the rain with a Spider-Man umbrella
Yeah.
that I really want.
Tempting.
It's very tempting.
Very
to buy.
tempting.
That's so she's on there. And
And
then
so-
I'm having trouble with my last one.
Okay.
And I've got two choices. I've got
right.
Jessica Drew, Spider-Woman,
Okay. Very good character.
and Gamora.
I would say
I think I'm going to go with Jessica Drew.
I like Gamora only if she's playing off of the rest of the Guardians. Like as an
Yeah.
individual character,
She's not very fun.
but Spider-Woman as an individual character is
Awesome.
really awesome.
Especially when her and Black Widow get together and team up.
Oh yeah.
Not get together in a dating way.
No.
Just like they just go out and have a girls' night is hilarious.
Yeah.
It's awesome. It's awesomely written and stuff
Mm-hmm.
in the comics. But there's mine. I don't have many choices of female. But you know what? This list to me was harder to make than any DC list I've ever done.
Really, like you could probably think of your top 5 DC right now.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it would not take that long.
They're right back there.
No, not
They're right behind
necessarily,
you in
but
the big
yeah.
six. Yeah. Some other
That shows
ones
you.
that are really
that
cool.
shows you. I mean, I like Marvel as a company, and I like
Mm-hmm.
a lot of characters in Marvel, but it's just not. I don't know. I just don't have that big
Yeah.
of a.
And
big
here's
of
the thing:
a-
is I'm sitting here
connection
thinking
with
about.
them.
I'm sitting here thinking about DC characters, and I'm like, I'm not sure I could do 5 characters right away, like you could. Like Marvel was pretty easy for me because I was like, oh, this one, I like that one, I like that one.
What
And
about Moon Knight or Cloak and Dagger? You forgot all about those.
I do like Cloak and Dagger. Don't really care for Moon Knight. He's not one of I've never really enjoyed Moon Knight as a character. I've never really read anything from Moon Knight, so I probably don't know enough about him. But Cloak and Dagger is really cool, kind of as a power couple. Some others that I like, I was talking about Luke Cage and Iron Fist earlier. The Heroes for Hire are really cool. Thor was really close to making it on my list as well, just because I'm a huge fantasy fan still.
yeah.
Doctor Strange. See what I said just a few seconds ago about fantasy, because that's awesome.
Yay, fantasy.
Talked about Deadpool. Scarlet Spider is another one. Peter Parker's clone, who ends up being his own version of Spider-Man, kind of a darker version of Spider-Man. Is
yeah,
really cool.
a less Boy Scouty version.
Well, actually, there's 2 different Scarlet Spiders, because there's 3 Peter Parkers out there. There's Peter Parker. There's Ben O'Reilly, Scarlet Spider, who kind of runs around in a red jumpsuit with a blue hoodie on, and he's really cool. But then there's Kane, which is the other Peter Parker clone, who ends up becoming the black and red version of Scarlet Spider. He's about 18 in the comics, I think. He's just barely of age, and he's just joined the New Warriors, and he doesn't really give a crap. He swears up and down like a sailor and everything like that, because that's who he is. Let's talk about some Marvel properties that I don't really care for, and I said I was going to bring up X-Men again, so here you go. Hopefully you'll stick with me after this, but I'm not a huge fan of the X-Men. There are a few that I can stand: Kitty Pryde, Iceman, Gambit, Colossus.
I just
individual
remember
characters.
you just said Marvel properties I don't care for, and it spurred me thinking about Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
I'm not a huge fan.
Another on my list that's kind of like, yeah, it's great that they're there, but they don't really influence my Marvel
However,
business.
there is a character from the Fantastic Four that actually I want to put on my list and bump off the Sentry.
What?
Silver Surfer.
Oh, okay. Yep.
Yep.
That would be 2 anti-heroes for you.
I mean, he's generally, as far as Earth is concerned, he's generally a hero.
Yeah.
90% of the time.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I wouldn't even consider him anti-hero. He's just
Yeah, but I mean, when I look at X-Men and I'm like, oh, there's a new X-Men storyline coming out, I kind of go, I don't really care.
I do too.
I'm not.
There's too many of them, in
There's
my opinion.
so many X-Men. I like the minor characters in the X-Men better than the main characters. Like when they have a story where they're talking about, like, it's just some of the students, talking about experiences and everything. I'm like, yeah, I like that. But when they get into the main thing with like, oh, here's Beast and Wolverine hacking it up again.
Don't really care.
Yeah, not really my favorite.
Don't care about Cyclops. You like Gambit though.
Yeah, like I said, there's some in there like Gambit and Iceman who are really cool characters.
Rogue was cool on the cartoon. She is dumb in the comics. Though.
I really didn't like her in
her
the cartoon either.
I liked her better than Jean Grey.
Oh yeah, well I mean I'm not saying that she's better than Jean Grey in the cartoon or Storm for that matter.
Yeah,
nobody likes Storm.
No.
If you like Storm, send us an angry email.
If you like Storm, you're probably the ruler of Wakanda.
Good one.
There's another that we forgot.
Black Panther is actually a really good one. Our cousin is a huge Black Panther fan.
He really likes Black Panther.
Yeah. And then, like you said, you already talked about the Fantastic Four, and those are really the properties that I just don't give a crap about.
Another couple from X-Men that you do like. You said Gambit. I like Colossus.
The Juggernaut. More of a villain.
He's not
than
a
everything.
mutant, but he's usually only X-Men comics.
And Kitty Pryde, like I said, Kitty Pryde is a really fun character to play around with and everything like that, because she's kind of the only normal X-Men if you think about it. Scott Summers is kind of a whiny jerk. I'm refraining from swearing. Wolverine's kind of that berserker. I've got a mysterious past and nobody talks to me because I'm gruff. Jean Grey's dead all the time. Emma Frost is snooty and don't really like her.
Emma Frost is, and I'm pardon my language, Emma Frost is a bitch.
Yeah, she is.
That's it. That's all there is to it. She's never been nice to anyone. She thinks she's better than everyone. And she's just, she's hot. Whatever.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean anything. It doesn't make me want to read a comic with her in it.
Yeah, exactly.
Or even try to like her.
And that's the other thing. Not to be.
And what's her name played her in
January Jones.
Yeah.
Ugh.
And she was a terrible actress.
No.
She has no range.
Don't remind me about that. That's probably the only reason why I don't always watch X-Men First Class is because I know January Jones is going to be there.
Yep. Yeah.
Let's go ahead and talk about like some comics that you should be reading if you want to get into Marvel, or like some ones that you can go back and read. I'd say the biggest one on my list is Civil War. There's no other, like, that's where I started reading comics, like, really heavily, because you were buying them.
Yep.
And it just kind of stuck with me, and I really enjoy the Civil War.
I do, too. But it also started off Planet Hulk as well, that went side by side.
Yep, and that's the other one on my list, actually, is Planet Hulk and eventually World War Hulk. Which is just a really cool kind of set of stories. For those of you who don't know about the Marvel Civil War, the government comes out and says that all superheroes must register their name to the government, not to the public, just to the government. But you can imagine that superheroes would not like that, and half of them do, half of them don't, and it starts
Civil War.
Yep. And Iron Man's pro registration, putting your name in for the government so that you can
your favorite Captain America stands up for freedom and says, "Nope, you're not going to do that.
We don't have to do anything we don't want to," you know. Which is kind of funny because Captain America is basically supporting vigilante, which goes against the laws of the U.S. government. But he actually talks about that, and he says sometimes the law is not right, and you have to do what's right. Sometimes when a river is coming and tells you to move, you have to say, no, you move, you know, that kind of thing. And that's the other reason why I like Captain America, is he's not afraid to stand up for what he believes in, even if it happens to be against what everybody else believes in.
Yes.
He's the paladin of the group, actually.
He pretty much is. He's lawful good.
He's the moral compass. So,
yep.
Any other ones?
Planet Hulk was good. You should probably read Secret Invasion.
Yes,
which was the Kree or the Skrull, where they came and they, were disguising themselves as everyone. And they pretty much took over the planet for a little while.
Yeah,
I don't know much about Marvel crossover stuff.
There's the Secret War, which is about all these superheroes get teleported to an alien planet to fight each other. And that's basically, or to fight a whole bunch of villains to decide who's the best. There
was a big crossover event just recently.
A plus X or A versus X, Original Sin.
Yeah.
X-Men Days of Future Past is a good one if you like the X-Men.
Another classic one that everyone says you should read.
And Apocalypse, X-Men Apocalypse.
Yep. But there you go. If you like X-Men, you should read them. If you don't like X-Men, you don't really...
Most of the big crossover events that I can think of, involve the X-Men
Involve
in some
X-Men
way.
at some point. Yeah.
Marvel, I mean, the Marvel universe is kind of each individual
I don't
character
think
has
they
good
do as many
storylines.
crossover. DC does a lot of big events. They do a lot of like Future's End and the New 52 and Flashpoint. And I mean, I can go through my list of comics and find
Which we'll talk
a
about
couple
next week.
dozen of them.
Yeah.
You know, but I like that. I like when they do I like crossover events because it usually combines a lot of characters together that I wouldn't necessarily pick up a single comic or that you wouldn't even have a comic for.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I'm thinking of like Moon Knight and stuff like that, and Cloak and Dagger, which you'd never see before unless there was a crossover event or something like that.
And then they come in for
Ant-Man. How many Ant-Man comics do we have?
Yeah, there's no Ant-Man comic that's
There is
running
none,
right
no.
now.
So
Or else I'd be getting it, I think.
yeah. So when they do a crossover, Ant-Man's a fairly big portion of it because it's like the Age of Ultron or something like that.
There's another crossover.
You know, there's a Ultron crossover, but he plays a big part in it, so you get to see a lot of Ant-Man, which is cool.
So that's pretty much it for Marvel. They're a great company. They do some good work, and they're boss when it comes to movies. There's no other company, superhero-wise, that can make movies like Marvel can make movies.
Yeah.
So next week we'll talk about DC, our top picks, and if you'd like to get your picks in, we'll give you the email at the end of the episode, and you can tell us who you like the best from DC Comics. Maybe more obscure characters, maybe more mainstream characters. We like them all.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so let's go ahead and get into our picks of the week.
Okay.
My pick of the week this week is October, which means Halloween is approaching and
Is upon us.
Is upon us. The eve of the Hollows. So my wife and I decided that we wanted to watch something Halloween related or horror related each day. And, one day we ended up watching just like the Family Guy Halloween special that they have and just then consider that good. But the first thing we watched was my pick of the week this week, which is a documentary called Nightmares in Red, White, and Blue. It's about an hour and a half long, and it goes through from the first ever horror movie, which is a Edison production of Frankenstein that bombed at the box office. Like it was a commercial failure, all the way up to modern day and kind of the evolution of horror movies throughout. It's a really cool documentary, and you get to it's adult oriented. I think is rated R. Because there is like they show clips that contain nudity in it from everything and stuff like that. So just a warning, but it's a really cool documentary, and they talk with a lot of cool people. Like they talk to George Romero about his zombies and how he created the whole zombie genre and what it means and everything like that. So that's my pick of the week.
All right, that's a good pick of the week. My pick of the week, I was going to go with one thing, but then you mentioned something different that I was like, oh yeah. We've been playing a tabletop game called Traveler.
Yep. We've been playing D&D for a couple years now.
Yep, and we all kind of decided we need a little bit of a change, something new, something fresh, and we decided, well, hey, we like sci-fi, let's do a sci-fi game. We've done fantasy for a couple years, why not do a sci-fi game? And so our good friend James found a game called Traveler, which we've been playing, and I was a little skeptical at first.
Yes, you were very skeptical.
Yes, I wanted a game. I actually wanted a game where I had my own ship, and you kind of flew around. Each person had their own ship, and they did their own thing.
Yeah.
But this game is more like D&D, where you have a character you play, but you're all on the same ship.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's other chances to get on your own ships at times, but it's set with. It uses the science of today as far as how the rules go. In D&D and in fantasy, kind of anything goes. If you can,
magic.
If you can justify it, and your game master, your dungeon master decides that yes, I will allow it, then you can do it. And so, I mean, we've done some pretty crazy stuff with magic.
Oh, absolutely.
Out there, and time traveled and things like that. Whereas in Traveler, that may not be possible because it's like no, that can't happen. It's going to take more energy than your entire civilization can put out in a year to blow up a planet. So no, you can't just blow up a planet.
Yeah, exactly.
Whereas in D&D, it's like, I channel the power of the old gods from 12 different dimensions, and I blasted into the planet.
Oh, all right.
And then it's like,
Done.
okay, roll for it. You know? Oh, you got a 20? Yeah, you blew the planet up.
The thing I like about Traveler is it uses a very unique character creation system.
Yes.
Where you're not just putting in stats and plugging them into slots
And building a backstory right away.
Yeah, it's kind of this whole progression thing where you pick a career. Like you say, oh, my character's gonna start out his life, or when he hits 18, he goes into becoming an entertainer, you know, and you roll for it and you decide whether or not the game basically decides whether or not you are successful as an entertainer and what you earn from that,
or whether you're not successful and you got to pick a new career path.
Yeah, or go into the army or be drafted or something.
Yep.
You know,
a couple of us actually, I went down a different career path than I ever thought I would.
Yeah,
my character became a diplomat.
Yeah.
Which I was like, that's not me, but okay. I thought I would go towards the sciences, and I ended up being diplomat.
One of our friends ended up failing at pretty much every career he got into.
Could even be a pirate.
Yeah, you can even be a pirate, even after losing an eye. You'd think that you would, when you lose an eye, you would be a pirate.
And then he lost the other eye.
Yeah.
and
an arm.
And an arm. And now he's pirate, no arms, no eyes.
But there's also a completely predictable path that your character can take, like mine took, where I spent 28 years in the same blue collar job career, actually, and it's what I wanted. And that's the thing is,
and you get a lot of bonuses and stuff.
Yeah, I got a pension. I have like 16,000 credits coming in every year because I worked so long at that job. So it's a really unique character creation, and I might adapt it for creating like NPCs in my own campaigns because that's really cool.
I like it because it gives me some really, really straightforward rules on how things are done and what can and can't be done.
Yeah.
And since I am already a big science fan, I can do a lot of stuff. I mean, there were times where we're talking about, okay, you're in the ship and you're flying at, 100 kilometers per hour or second or something like that, 100 kps, and you have to be outside of the gravity well, which is this big, and I'm like sitting there doing the math, and a couple other people on the table are going like, what?
Yeah, I was one of those people. I was just kind of like,
what are we doing?
I let the other people handle it. I just run the power here.
Yeah. And so, that's actually kind of fun to me. It's kind of like, wow, we actually have to figure out, trajectories and things like that in the game. It may not sound appealing, but let me tell you, it's as in depth or not in depth as you want.
Yeah.
And
that's the thing is, I think our dungeon master for that game is a really good at that kind of stuff, because he's got a sci-fi loving background and some science education under his belt and everything. I know that I am going to be called to run one of these games with the Traveler system eventually.
Don't worry, I'll help you out.
And I'm kind of really worried about it. So, because I am not that way, and it's going to be like, I have to sit there and make practical things instead of these weird creatures that I can do whatever I want. Yeah, Scott.
I don't know.
Yeah,
aliens, man.
That's
you travel to Venus and find out that there are a whole colonies of floating, basically hot air balloon creatures.
Yeah, but that's the thing is,
or in a gas giant or something.
Is with fantasy, if I say there's hot air balloon creatures, you're like, oh, okay, that makes sense. It's magic, it's science. But in sci-fi, it's like, oh, you find these hot air balloon creatures. It's like, well, what do they eat? How do they survive? What's going on? And suddenly I have to explain things, or I have to try and figure out this whole biology.
Just tell me what you want to do, and I'll tell you.
Okay,
I'll help you figure out all that
Scott.
stuff. Yeah, exactly. And that's my forte. I love that kind of stuff. I mean, I've been reading lots of sci-fi books lately. I've been playing sci-fi games. Like it's just been getting really way more into it.
Yeah,
recently,
and that makes Traveler a good game for you.
Yeah, so that was my pick of the week. And yours was Nightmares in Red, White, and Blue documentary, the horror documentary. So
a horror
documentary.
Well, that is one more episode in the bag,
in the bank,
in the
digital vaults.
I hope you enjoyed it. Next week again.
I know I did.
You're the only one.
Oh.
If you would like to send us an email about what you like or dislike about Marvel or DC, you can send it to actsofgeekery@gmail.com.
You can also post it on our Facebook page. It's facebook.com/actsofgeekery.
Or you can go to the YouTubes and go to youtube.com/actsofgeekery.
And
maybe we should stop.
We're going to stop saying that because we haven't caught up. I've had two people this week tell me that we're way behind. So I think today we might have to focus on getting those up. And
Yeah.
at least get sort of caught up for posting those.
Yeah.
But otherwise, you can also send us a tweet. A tweet on Twitter.
On Twitter.
It is at Acts of Geekery is our handle. Or you can also hashtag Acts of Geekery in it.
Or hashtag Brothers
Geek as well.
And we'll find it.
We'll be able to find it.
We probably should check that, actually, to make sure nobody...
Yeah, no one uses Twitter.
No, it's not popular at all.
No, it's not. No one uses Twitter at all.
All right, well, that is the Acts of Geekery podcast.
I'm Scott.
And I'm Corey.
Keep geeking out.
See ya.
And I would have got away with it if it weren't for you meddling podcasters.